Back. MTL Sports. We're on episode 124. NBA season is kicked off. GOAT James, first victory with GOAT Jr. And the Lakers, JJ Redick, first head coaching win. Very wonderful stuff. Celtics beat down the Knicks. I ain't never seen anything like that on opening night. So we'll probably go over those games as well as our NFL Week 8 games of the week. And some NBA award predictions for this season. So we got to get those in before NBA season officially fully tips off. So with all that being said, guys, stay tuned. Let's get into Week 8 NFL. But before that, a couple of trades have gone down in the past. Well, I guess just today, right? Since last episode. So, first we got D Hop scoring to the Chiefs. Now, we called this last episode, Lawrence. You said if they don't make a move by, was it next week or the week after or before they face the Bills, right? You said that they were gonna go on a little losing streak, but they got D Hop. I think it was for what a fifth that a fifth that turns into a fourth if they make the Super Bowl or something. So a little. I mean, we talked about it in the group chat. We said, you brought it up that, hey, I think this is a little low for D Hopkins, even though, I mean, if it's comparable to Cooper, Cooper's in the last year of his deal, Hopkins in the last year of his deal. Cooper had over 1,000 yards with multiple quarterbacks last year. D Hop had 1,000 yards with a poop quarterback. How do you feel about this trade, Lawrence?
I think it's just giving the Chiefs ammo to win. I don't think it's a very good trade at all. I don't think the Titans nearly got enough back in order to warrant the trade. But the Chiefs seemingly always get what they want. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins had a pretty decent year last year, and he's only down this year because of the quarterback play. It's not like it's crazy to believe that we live in a world where DeAndre Hopkins going for a fifth-round pick is crazy to believe. I mean, arguably, I would say in some light that, if the Carolina Panthers were to trade Bryce Young, they should be asking for minimum a fifth-round pick. Like, you probably should get better. Hopefully. Some people might believe in him. I don't. But, a fifth-round pick. And DeAndre Hopkins, I feel like, warrants more than just a fifth-round pick. Just like, a Bryce Young trade would. He has more value than that.
Yeah. Yeah, my thing is, the wide receiver market is hot right now. We already we've seen Cooper go, like I said, to the Bills for a third rounder. Now Hopkins got traded. Cooper Kupp's on the trade block potentially. The Chiefs were going to trade for him, but they don't. I think because of cap issues, implications, whatever the case is, they don't want to eat up a lot of that money. He's still owed a lot, so they try to get like a third team involved, I guess, to maybe take one of the players that they didn't want, so they could make some room for Kupp. That's what it seems like. So, I mean, if they were willing to pay a second for Kupp, Tennessee, you're in the same conference. Why are we just gifting the Chiefs another potential Super Bowl here? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. At least hold out for a fourth that turns into a third. I feel like that would have been at least a better play, but I don't know. Tennessee's turning into a poverty franchise if they haven't already. So I don't know what's going on down there.
Yeah, and you also look at the market. Like, people are going to start paying for wide receivers as well, because the Buccaneers, they're still in the thick of it, and they just lost Evans and Godwin in the same day.
And Godwin. Yep.
So people are going to want them.
Evans is out until at least week 11, and Godwin's probably done for the year. And even the 49ers, I mean, they're down receivers. Ayuk's out for the year, of course, and Debo was just released from the hospital. Who knows if he's going to play this week? And Jennings is still hurt, so it's heating up. I mean, there's still some, and the Chargers need a wide receiver. I mean, Herbie hasn't looked that good without a number one option, so there's a lot of moving pieces out there. So something to look forward to.
Agreed.
There was another trade, not to the Titans traded Jerome Baker to the Seahawks. Uh, Honestly, I don't know too much about these players, so I'm not gonna go too much into it. But do you have any thoughts
Hmm.
about this one?
Did you have thoughts about? Sorry, I got distracted for a second. Hello.
Yep, I got you.
All right, who got traded? Let's see here. Jerome Baker. I don't even know who Jerome Baker is. No, I don't know if they call it. I don't know if that makes me a
Yeah, so
casual.
that's why I was
I don't
like,
know who Ernest Jones the fourth is. So I guess that makes me a super NFL casual. So I got distracted for some moment, but yeah, I have no idea who the two of these guys are. I think that makes me a casual these days.
all right, we can skip that. Hey, we can't know everything in the NFL. We're not casuals, but when it comes to some players, I guess you can consider us. People on the internet would at least. Who cares what they think? All right, week 8 games of the week. I'll go first. Philly, Cincinnati. This game got flexed. I think that it was originally at 4 o'clock. They flexed it to 1 in place of Chicago and Washington. It's going to be a great game. I'm expecting a shootout. I don't think much defense will be played. Maybe in the first quarter, kind of feel each other out. Um, Kind of similar to like the Eagles and Cincy, how they kind of felt each other out the first quarter, and then it just went bonkers after that. Started scoring a lot. Uh, Look for, I think Cincy with the D line is back at full strength. Look for them to kind of neutralize Saquon and Jalen and in that run game. If they can do that, I feel pretty good about at least containing AJ Brown, and if Devontae comes back, uh, containing him. But you can't let Saquon run for like 100 or close to 100 and get a tub or two. And you can't let Jalen push his way to a touchdown or two. So we can stop all that nonsense. I feel like we have a pretty decent chance of winning this one. Since he is favorite 2.5 at home, 1 o'clock game. I'm taking the over, and of course I'm taking my team because I think we'll go 4-4. But uh, for you non-fans out there, I'm definitely taking the over. This is going to be a shootout for sure.
Why do you think it's gonna be a barn burner like that?
What you got, Lawrence?
My first game to watch is the Falcons and Buccaneers. I think it's gonna be a low scoring affair. The first one was pretty high powered, but Tampa Bay knows they're gonna have to crank
Mm-hmm.
it up on the defensive side at least for a week or two. I know for the offense to get a little bit back right. And also, I think Tampa Bay is going to try to run the ball heavily. I think the Falcons are easily exploitable against the run. Last year, the Buccaneers were one of the worst teams against the rushing the ball. This year, they're almost a top 20. I think they're around top 20, but they're going to have to lean on it much more in this game, and that's why I'm going to say it's going to be a lower scoring game. But I'm also going to take Atlanta after coming off a big loss to Seattle. And when I say big loss, like they got their socks
Yeah.
blown off. And then I think that gives Atlanta a good firm hold on this division. And it's just unfortunate timing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know this is the favorite to win. Spread says otherwise, and I'm going to have to agree. I think the Falcons have enough to win. They've already won before. That gives them. I think the Falcons are 4-0 in the conference at that point.
Yeah, I want to say so. 4-0 in the or 3-0 in the division, right?
I know they're at least 2-0. I don't remember if they play the Saints or not yet. I believe they have.
3-0, 3-0 in the division. Conference play, they're four and
Yeah,
one.
I think
So,
it's gonna.
yeah, because they lost to the Seahawks, so they
It
they
gives the
lost one in the
Falcons
conference.
pretty much the chance to clinch the division early on, but if the Falcons can just cruise the rest of the season, I feel like they don't have a problem.
Yeah, I said this a couple weeks ago. All the NFC South games are I'm taking the overs for the rest of the year. I'm stick to my guns. This is going over. I think Baker will find a way to score. Like you said, the running game I think is going to be really important. I think they'll be able to score some rushing touchdowns, or at least if they get into the red zone, just some quick, easy passes, some screens will get some guys open and get them a chance to score. But I'm taking the over at the very least. Second game for myself. Uh, let's see here. I was actually going to go Washington, Chicago. Now we don't know the status about Jane Daniels. He didn't practice again. Uh, usually they have Mondays off. He didn't practice Tuesday. Didn't practice today. Today is Wednesday. I think he has to practice tomorrow in order to be eligible to play Sunday. I think that's the rule. So it'll be interesting to see if he, attempts to practice. My gut tells me, I don't know. I feel like the NFL is going to push for Washington to start Jaden. I think they really want this number one pick versus number two pick thing to happen. I'm expecting him to play. Now, I think it's more of a pain tolerance thing. That's what I've been hearing, Lawrence. So I feel like he's a tough kid. I feel like this is definitely a game to get up for. Just say fuck it. Let me just take a little shot or two, and you feel good during the game, and then you just deal with whatever you got to deal with after the game in terms of swelling, or maybe you injured it a little bit more. But yeah, in this one though, we're at Northwest Stadium, which is a stupid name, but that's neither here nor there. In this game, I think the Bears defense is just very, very good. And if Jaden plays, even if Marcus plays, I feel like the Bears defense will just be able to kind of cut all of that running attack off. And I feel like, as you see with the Ravens, they cut off the running attack, and then, they had a hard time moving the ball. It was basically up to Jaden to do a bunch of Superman plays to, get them first downs and, even the touchdowns. Remember that fourth and goal touchdown pass at Scary Terry to bring them back to down 7 in the fourth versus the Ravens. So I don't know if he's going to have that same magic, being hurt with the ribs or whatever. And I don't think Marcus, he hasn't played a lot of meaningful football for a while. So I don't know even if he starts, I don't even think he's going to have enough magic to do all that stuff. So I'm going to go Bears on the road to win this one. I don't know about points though. I'm kind of iffy on the points. Both teams can put up points, but I think this might be a defensive game.
Okay.
But
Well, for me, I have other ideas that I'm going to move towards. I think my ideas kind of swirl around the idea that the Cardinals are going to beat up the Falcons. I think it's going to be another team on the train of destruction.
the Cardinals
Yeah, the
and
Cardinals and
Dolphins.
Dolphins. The Dolphins haven't scored, are averaging 11 points per game. Somehow they're 3.5 favorites against the
This is true.
Cardinals. And the biggest thing I take away from this game is if you watch the game against the Chargers, the Cardinals were consistently able to run the ball. And it says they're sixth overall running the ball. They're pretty good in other offensive stats. But one thing is important is the Dolphins are 17th against the run. So it is kind of a weakness of theirs. And if it's something the Cardinals can push, I mean, I'm thinking like a lot of option plays could really affect the Dolphins, get them off their, I guess, off tilt a little bit. I mean, they have no idea what they're doing for quarterback. I mean, is it Huntley? He's still day to day. It could be Boyle. I don't trust that. Some guy off the street. I don't trust that. So keeping them favorite is questionable. And Waddle is also now day to day. You can never like to hear that. Because if Waddle's out, that means it's a
Yeah.
complete. All right, let's just shut down Tyreek. So, now honestly, Miami's running game hasn't really mounted much of anything in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And honestly, defensively, the Cardinals aren't a great team, but the Cardinals aren't a bad team on defense. Yeah, they're bottom tier in the league, but you gotta look at some of the people they played, and they've always hung in games. So, that being said, I'm gonna have to take the Cardinals for an upset here.
Okay, I can be down with that. I think Tua's preparing to come back this Sunday. I think it's just a little bit too late for that. I know he said F the Guardian cap, and that's very questionable as well. We talked about that I think last episode, but yeah, the offensive line just looks a little shaky, Lawrence, and defense has looked okay the past couple games. So maybe they'll have to really leverage the defense to even stay in this one. But yeah, I think the Cardinals, this is when they hit their stride, I think. And like you said, they're kind of a dark horse to make the playoffs. So I think this might be the stretch of games where they hit their stride. So we'll have to see. Um, hmm. Last up for me, Sunday Night Football. I get the next day off, a mental health day. Shout out to work for mental health day on Monday, 28th. So I will be watching this game in its entirety because them boys are going to San Fran, and honestly, I don't know how to feel about this one, Lawrence. Because both teams are just kind of in a. Let's call it how it is. Both teams are kind of a shit show right now, right? Dallas, them boys, Jerry Jones is just talking out of his ass right now, talking about. I don't know if you saw. I think it was on Monday where he said, even he went back to the Derrick Henry thing and said even if we had the cap space to sign Derrick Henry, and I'm paraphrasing this, but he said even if we had the money to sign him, he doesn't fit our style of offense. One of the stupidest things I've ever heard come out of, someone who is trying to play GM. I've never heard anything stupider. I think as a team, that's pretty demoralizing. Just to hear the stupid shit that comes out of Jerry Jones' mouth week in and week out. Plus, with a week or two ago, he threatened to fire the people on his radio show just for asking simple questions that he didn't like. I think all this is just bad juju for them boys. But on the flip side, the 49ers are just falling apart. They got a lot of bad injury juju. I think George Kittle is even on the injury report. I think he got on injury report today. So, they need some help too. Jordan Mason's still questionable. A lot of these guys. I mean, it's going to be a shit show. Honestly, I don't know. I have to pick somebody. I'm going to go 49ers. I feel like, this is, the 49ers always have them boys numbers. And I feel like even a team that's very, very weak right now can still beat up on some Cowboys. So I go 49ers. I'm not too confident in that, but I'll go 49ers just for the sake of picking a team this
Well,
one. How you
actually,
feel,
to
Lawrence?
back you, because this was going to be my third game, so it's interesting that we both went this way. So to back your same statement, the Cowboys average 21 points per game on offense, and they allow 28 points per
Mm,
game on defense. And you're talking about a 49ers team, regardless of all injuries, they're still a top three offense in total point and total yards, versus a 23rd overall defense in total points, or sorry, total yards. And the strength versus the
yeah,
weakness. I mean, regardless of anything, a running back is still efficient. 49ers have a good O line. They've proven they have a good O line. That of all the injuries they have, at least their O line is intact. They have the sixth ranked
yeah,
run game, and the Cowboys have the 27th ranked run defense. And I'm pretty sure it's only been one game in which we saw the Cowboys stop the run. So everything says we should go Cowboys based on the injuries and everything for the 49ers. But fundamentally, honestly, regardless who's running back, there's going to be lanes to run through. Well, the line's going to make it. And,
yeah.
they always say running back is one of the least important positions because you can have anyone do it. We'll see how it works because this is a good running offense versus a bad rush defense.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting. Yeah, I mean, you can just tell. I mean, even on the Cowboys side, they can't run the ball, and they got two nobodies. Well, they got Zeke back, but the other kid, Rico Dowdle, I think his name is, he's had
Well,
ups and
Parsons
downs
and
this year,
Eric,
so it'll be
was it?
interesting.
And Hendricks and Parsons are also on the injury report, so that just doesn't help the defense even more.
Yeah,
It won't matter
so
who San Fran throws out there.
ah, yeah. Without Parsons, their defense has been pretty lackluster the past couple weeks. So um, should lend even more credit to San Fran, pulling this one out. That's all I got. Do you have another one, or are we just gonna move
We're
on
gonna
from
move on
this?
from this. This was my last one as well. I mean, before you want to get in the NBA, I can give you a little parlay I was feeling for the UFC and talk a little about the UFC fights this weekend.
All right, let's do UFC, and then we'll finish off with some
So the
NBA.
UFC is going to be in Abu Dhabi, or is it Abu Dhabi? Or is it UAE? I think it's the UAE. Anywho,
Yeah,
uh,
UAE.
my parlay I made. I'm a big fanboy, so I'm gonna put Max Holloway in it. Take it or leave it. It is what it is. You're gonna get
Huh.
it. And then Akalaev, who's in the third third from last fight. I'm gonna take him to win by knockout. Okay, we're not even gonna pussyfoot around about it. We're gonna take him as knockout to beat Rakic. Um, I'm going to take
Okay.
Murphy. All right, I'm gonna take Murphy, and then Petrosian and Makhmadov or Makhmadov. I'm going to take um, the fight to end within the distance. I think one of them is going to defeat the other. One of them is going to beat the shit out of the other one. I'm kind of leaning Armin because I don't know, I just have this feeling, but I know one of them's not walking out of the ring, so I'm just confident in that. Honestly, this being an early card, like early in the day, it's a good one. Like I like a lot of fights on the card. There's a lot of dogs that could win, but this is the if that was to be a betting man, I would take the first three that I picked. Leave out Holloway, but if you're gutsy, you're gonna go for it. I'm taking Max Holloway every fight he's in. I always think he's got a chance. I mean, he's the baddest MFer
MF.
for a reason. Tuporia is super
Uh
good,
huh.
but I just feel like Max is as good. But we've seen Max. I mean, he doesn't have any kind of blemish in terms of people he's fought in his career. He's only fought top tier fighters, and we've seen Taporia. He's fought some scrubs at the beginning, and he's fought a lot of good fighters over the time. But just Max is 32. He hasn't developed like a chin quite yet, and I'm gonna keep riding it till it starts to pop up.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I look forward to this fight. Should be very, very good. Um, this might be one where hopefully the movie theater has this one. Maybe you guys don't know, movie theaters do be showing UFC fights, so go to your local theater and check and see if they got the UFC. Just getting them from I think tickets like $20. Well worth it. NBA. Let's move on. Awards. We're gonna do awards and then maybe we'll pick some games this week. But uh, let's see here. I guess MVP. Let's start with most valuable player. I kind of already said my spiel. I got Shea to win MVP this year. I think he was robbed last year. I think Jokic, although he's probably the best player right now, if you just look at what Shea did, no one expected the Thunder to be number one seed in the West. They did that. Looked pretty dominant in a lot of their wins. Shea's averaging, I think he averaged like what over 30 last year. I think he's gonna do the same this year. I look for them to win close to 60 games. They got Hartenstein, they got Caruso. I think Jay Williams is gonna average about 22, 23 this year. I put some money down on that on FanDuel for him to average 22 points a game this year. Um, yeah, I just think they're going to be a juggernaut in the West. The West has gotten better at the top. Some of the middle teams gotten worse. I don't really. Their only competitor to me is the Timberwolves, and Goat James kind of handled them pretty easily last night. So I'm kind of starting to even struggle keeping them in the top two right now. But I got SGA. Lawrence, who you got for MVP this year?
No, I'm not really quite sure. So I just throw a name in the hat just because of the performance that I witnessed last night, and I'll just have to go Tatum. I feel like Tatum has a lot of beef with the league at the moment. Um, and the fact that like that team overall just looked like impossible to stop against the Knicks. They shot way too many threes for it to be okay. And the fact that Tatum was dropping threes like it was nothing. And Tatum just
Yeah.
looks like a man on a mission to prove something. The fact that he didn't get to play in the U.S. team, I think it hurt his feelings. And I think we're just gonna see an MVP
Oh, it
season
did.
out of him.
Yeah, I could see that. He played with a lot of anger last night, a lot of chip on on his shoulder type of attitude. So I definitely could see that. Um, Defensive Player of the Year. I got Bam. I think Bam's vastly underrated. Now everyone and their mom's gonna put down Wemby, and I 100% agree. But I'm just gonna throw out another name because I don't want to just be like all the other people out there. Uh, I think if Bam can get the team to top five in defense and has pretty good defensive stats like close to 2 blocks per game, double digit rebounding, if he averages steal per game, and like I said, get to Miami to like top five defense, I feel like it's his to lose. But I know Wemby is going to be heavily favored, already is heavily favored. But my thing is, the Spurs probably won't even be a top 10 defensive team, so I don't know if we can give them an award if the Spurs probably won't even be top 10 shit. Probably won't be top 15 defense, so I don't know. I don't feel good about that one, but what do you got,
What
Lawrence?
what what is this one?
We got Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, that's going to Wimby. I'm not even gonna really discuss that one. I think what's kind of clear, that man can block shots more better than anyone else, and no one
Mm-hmm.
can get steals at a big enough clip in order to compete with that block percentage. And then I'm kind of believing that the only real competition he's going to be walking into is Gobert and Chet. And I mean, let's be realistic, he's better than both of those. So I'm going to have to join you. That's what everyone else is taking. It's probably what I'm going to end up taking. It's just Victor Wembanyama.
All right, he's going with the rest of the crowd. I'm going against the crowd. Uh, Sixth Man of the Year. This will be interesting. I don't really, this is an award that you kind of fill out maybe after a third. 1/3 of the season is already kind of gone. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say probably, if I had to guess, honestly, probably like Malik Monk. I feel like coming back from injury, I feel like he would have won it last year if he didn't get hurt towards the end of the year. So I think that'll motivate him. There's definitely still that 6 man role on his team, but with DeMar, I feel like his chances of starting have gone back down. I feel like if they didn't get DeMar, they would have started Monk. But now that they have DeMar, there's no need to start Monk. Just keep him off the bench for some firepower. So yeah, I got Malik Monk. Who you got, Lawrence?
I'm going to throw two strays at you real quick. I'm going to go Bradley Beal. I think Bradley Beal ends up taking over a six-man
Ooh,
spot. I think they should start Tyus. I think
okay.
Tyus is the better start. I think Beal is the better maybe closer of a game, but come in and get us points when we need it off the bench. So I think Bradley Beal is, and I think the Suns are going to be
Yeah.
strong enough to be a top four team in the West. So that'll keep them up there for voting purposes. But then, honestly, after watching the Knicks last night, McBride, uh, he seems like I
Deuce
feel like you
McBride.
threw a
Yeah.
little bit of money on him, and he has a really decent season. I think his name is in the hat just because. I mean, we were never going to take that guy. He was never going to be in any discussion for, you know, 6 man of the year. People were going to be like, is he even going to be on the bench at the end of the year? So I'm going to throw my hat in for that one. But if I had to guess, I'd probably say Beal. He's going to be a top four team. Uh, I feel like he's not really a point guard, and I feel like it's going to come early on that Tyus is a better point guard for that team.
Yeah, no, I agree. No disputes for me. Rookie of the year. Now this is a little awkward of a year because there's not really a standout really. Uh, you got the Zachary Ricochet kid. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering his last name, but the kid that the Hawks selected number one. You got Sar went number two to the Wiz. Reed Shepard went to the Rockets. Um, yeah, there's just a lot of people who probably won't get minutes. And I feel like for rookie of the year, you need to at least borderline start, if not be like a six man. You got to have a big impact. So a lot of people are going to Edie. I can see Edie definitely winning because I think he's going to start off the jump. And, I think he's pretty experienced for playing, all 4 years of
Yep.
college. So I feel like he'll have an immediate impact. So I'm not mad at that. Another name I'll throw out there. I think Bub Carrington. I think he'll have more of an impact
Really?
than what's his name, Sar. Yeah, I think that kid's really good, Lawrence. I feel like I don't know if he'll get enough minutes because I don't even know their point guard situation. So we'll have to see if they'll let him play with Poole, or maybe he'll just strictly be second unit guy. But he's really got a lot of potential. I think Sar. I think it's gonna be tough for him to kind of integrate, and they already got a lot of. Kuzma's at the four. Maybe you play him at the five, but then you got Valanciunas, so he probably won't really get minutes until you move Valanciunas, and I think at that point it'll be too late. So I got Bub before I got Sar. What do you got?
Um, I'm just gonna try to keep it what I thought based on my draft. I'm gonna go with Reed Shepard only because I know what I saw him do in Kentucky, and we kind of see a translation from Kentucky to you know pro basketball. They always get their guys ready, so I'm gonna stick with that Reed
Yeah,
Shepard logic. I think he's gonna be, he's gonna have enough bench time where he can make impacts. I think you're right with the Edie though. Starting from game one, it's really gonna be kind of hard for him not to win.
yeah,
But
yeah. That's
I think that's just what it really comes down to. It's gonna be hard for him not
that's
to push for that.
yeah. I agree. I agree. It's pretty much his to lose unless it's just bad, which I don't foresee. Last one, we got most improved. For the past couple of years, it's gone for guys that honestly I don't think it should have gone to. Like John Morant should not have won it. Laurie Marketing, we already knew he was good. Like Tyrese, we already knew he was good. I don't know. The trend is just for a good player to get great. Um, Shoot, I don't even know honestly. My money's on Scotty Barnes. I got two players on the same team, Scotty Barnes and Quickly. I feel like both of them have potential to win this. I feel like Scotty Barnes' team, but Quickly's gonna have the ball in his hands most of the time, and I like Quickly. I think Quickly could easily average 20 and like six or seven assists a game. It just depends on if Scotty can even push further than that 20 point per game. If he can get to like 23, 24, 25, yeah, I think then it'll be his award to lose. But like I said, if we're following that trend, it's going to be a guy that goes from good to great. Uh, so yeah, I'm gonna go those two on the same team. It's gonna be one of them, I think.
Honestly, you're kind of right. Um, this is a hard one for me. I really don't know who to pick or where to go because it just feels like an
Hmm.
odd season. Uh, there's. I mean, like someone I want to say is like Sangoon. He kind of had a chance to win it last year,
I could see
but are
that.
they gonna give him the fact that he almost had a chance to win last year before he got hurt? But he is coming off injury, so maybe he gets put in the category of comeback. Is there a comeback player? But
This most improved is
I could
basically
see
that.
Sangoon. I'd probably have to side with Sengun because I do think the Rockets have a chance to get out of the play-in, and I think if they get out of the play-in and just lock up a spot, I think that makes his chances a little higher as well.
Yeah, I agree. Two more names I want to throw out there. Sengun's a good one. Jalen Green's also another good one. He just got paid as well. If he can average about 25 per game and be an all star, look for him. And uh, actually, two more. Paulo, I feel like if we're following that trend, Paulo will go from all star to if he can get to the all NBA level, look out for him. And I got LaMelo. I feel like if LaMelo can stay healthy, if he can play 60, 65 games, look for LaMelo to be in the conversation as well.
Alrighty.
All right. I just want to pick a couple games. We can start on Thursday. We just got a couple games. Yeah, Boston's gonna blow out the Wiz tomorrow. I might go to that game. I didn't even know they were playing in Washington. So yeah, I usually go to Celtics versus Wiz. So I'll probably go to that one. Uh, Dallas is gonna blow out San Antonio. The real test here is OKC versus the Nugs. No Hartenstein to start, so that's a little concerning. And we're in Denver. Denver's gonna have a chip on their shoulder, Lawrence. So
I would take Denver for this game. It's
Denver, they rarely lose at
they
home,
rarely
right? I
lose
feel
at
like they're
home.
pretty
They have
pretty
no
decent at home.
injuries. Their team is ready from the get-go.
Yes, I'm leaning Denver in this one, but I feel like OKC will put up a good fight. Uh, Kings versus Minnesota. Now, like I said, Minnesota kind of got manhandled by the Lakers. So the Kings don't have the size of the Lakers. They pretty much only have Sabonis, and we'll have to see how the offense looks. Will they just simply outscore the Timberwolves? Because at times the Timberwolves look like they didn't have enough offense last night against the Lakers. DiVincenzo looked good, but maybe he needs some more minutes to kind of balance out the offense. Um, I'm looking for Minnesota to bounce back. I got them winning this one.
Um, I would have a, I would have a, I would have a field day with that over at 227. Is it 227?
Yep, 227.
Okay, so the Timberwolves have a game under their belt. They're playing a team that doesn't play a whole lot of defense. So the offense for the Timberwolves already has not a get right game, but get practice game that was legitimate, not for just for shits and gigs. And honestly, there's nothing about the Kings that points to the fact that they can win these sort of games. I know they're at home and they need to,
Yeah,
but I think they still need to develop that ability, and maybe DeMar DeRozan helps them do that.
yeah, we'll have to see. Looking at Friday very quickly, a lot of these early games I wouldn't even watch or touch. They're kind of just kind of meh games. Indiana at New York. That's a game I would probably pay attention to. New York after an ass whooping versus the Celtics. I'm just not convinced that they're gonna be able to play good enough defense. Even I think Cat's just gonna get picked on all beginning of the year until they get Mitchell back. Teams are just gonna pick on him. He's just not that good as a defensive big. So I got Indiana to cover the spread on this one. Yeah, I think the Knicks they're gonna be a little demoralized, and I feel like their defense is just it's just not gonna click early in this NBA season.
I don't have a whole lot. Uh, I still need to watch a few more games to get the feeling of all these teams. I haven't paid attention to NBA throughout the off season. Um, so if I had to go on a limb and say one, I'm actually going to go the other way, and I'm going to go Pacers. Um, honestly, what I saw out of the Knicks was not very good, and it
Nope.
doesn't feel like they're prepared yet. It feels like the team is not ready.
Yeah, I get those. I get those same vibes. Let's see here. Just looking down the slate, we got Phoenix and the Lakers to close out Friday night. Um, Lakers play really, really well. Didn't shoot the three very well. Suns. This will be the I think this will be the first game, so it'll be interesting to see how that new starting lineup. I think Tyus Jones will start. We'll have to see if that's really the case, but if he starts, gets the offense flowing early. KD, Book coming off the Olympics, they look pretty good in the Olympics. Look for this to be a shootout. I don't think too much defense is going to be played. Um, yeah, I honestly don't even have an answer. Just this is just going to be a great game. But if I had to choose, I'm going Lakers because it's in crypto. But honestly, it's a little too early. What do you got,
I'm going
Lawrence?
to go Phoenix just for the power, the firepower they have. I think the Lakers got lucky that Timberwolves' firepower wasn't at full capacity running yet. I feel like the Suns are going to have a little bit better firepower, probably a little bit weaker on the defensive side. And honestly, Nurkic always
Yeah,
plays AD kind of nice
very
for some
well.
reason.
Yep.
And
Take the points and
so
rebounds.
honestly, if Nurkic can just do enough to like, I don't want to say no. The best word is nullify AD a little bit. If Nurkic gets 19, AD gets 29. That's just 10. That's just 10 points they need to make up. And honestly, the Lakers have so many other pieces they got to figure out. The Suns are just kind of built for the beginning part of the season. They don't really have a lot of things to figure out. Their only thing they got to figure out is point guard, which could become a factor in this one.
Okay, I agree. Shoot. All right. That's all the games I wanted to cover. The weekend's games. They don't really have stats and odds and stuff like that up, so we can skip past those. But yeah, think that's it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening on Spotify. All that good stuff. MTL Sports episode 124. We're gonna head on out. Thank you guys for all the support, all that good stuff. And we're
Peace
out.
out.
Peace.